Hi, I'm Alistair, and if, like me, you're into electronics, you probably get bombarded with adverts for high-tech gadgets like robotic hands, or Tesla coils, or magnetic levitation machines, and a lot of these adverts come from companies like AliExpress or BangGood, who are massive Chinese distributors, but it's fair to say they don't always have the best reputation. What happens is you place an order and then 3 or 4 weeks later what arrives is an unassembled bag of bits with no instructions, no support, perhaps some of the pieces are missing, and even if you do manage to get them assembled, the performance is not always quite as good as you were led to believe from the advert. But I like a challenge. So what I've done is I've ordered a whole bunch of different tech products, and now I'm going to make some videos describing what actually arrives and whether I can get them to work or not. So here's the first product I'm going to try out. It is a Ring Accelerator Cyclotron high-tech toy physical model DIY kit children gift toys 5 orders. Oh no, wait, hang on, 5 orders. I mean, how come... So that's only been ordered 5 times? How can only 5 people have ordered this when... I mean, look at this picture here. It's got digital magnetic levitation. It's got product information that I don't understand. It's got a product principle, oxygen-free copper coil. It's got some other components. But what I absolutely love about this is the question and answers section here. So we've got, what is this? How interesting. There are many questions and there are no answers. The next one is my absolute favourite. EM is the tube on which the winding on which the voltage is sold, and they turn into a magnet, and because of this, ball flies off in a circle as crazy, and I can do this for only 100 rubles. So many questions. It should be pointed out, these are all questions. There are no answers, as in fact the second question there points out. There's actually a second page as well. Can I create a black hole? I don't know what this is, but give me 2. So I think, just for the sheer intrigue of these unanswered questions, I'm going to have to order one of these. And a little under 2 weeks later, this is what has arrived. So let's take a look inside. So we just remove the packaging first of all. So we've got some polystyrene packaging here, and inside we can see we've got a bag with 2 metal balls in it, about a centimetre across. We've got a power supply here. And this is a 12 volt 5 amp, so 60 watt power supply. It's got a US plug on it, and I can't see an adapter anywhere. The whole of the rest of the box is actually the main product itself. It's pretty well packed, so it's actually going to be a little bit tricky to get it out, but hopefully that means it hasn't been damaged in transport at all. So here we go, we look inside this bag here. It basically consists of some copper coils of wire with some PCBs on each one. And if I just get it out of the bag, you can see that the track itself, that looks like kind of moulded ABS plastic perhaps. Just move this out of the way so I can set it down for you. And there's not much else to it really. There's no obvious buttons or interface of any kind. There's no instructions. So I'll find an adapter for that power supply and we'll have a go at turning it on. So here I've got a generic travel adapter that will just convert different sorts of plugs into a UK 3 pin like this. So I'm just going to connect the power supply plug to that. Now it says here that the input can be between 100 and 240 volts AC, so that should work in the UK fine. And then I'm just going to undo this cable tie so I can make the lead a little bit longer. And I'm just going to plug that into a regular plug socket over here. Now when I connect that on, okay, so we've got lights on straight away. Like I say, there's no obvious buttons or anything, so I guess I'm just going to take one of these balls and place it on the track and we'll see what happens. Whoa! Okay, so that's actually pretty cool. So what's happening is that the electric current passing through those copper coils is inducing a magnetic field that is pulling the ball around the track. there's no kind of speed control, and in fact I don't even know how to turn it off. Hang on, just let me, it's quite noisy, so let me just try and stop this ball. Ow. Let me catch that. Now, it came supplied with 2 balls, actually. I don't know if this is meant to be a spare, or whether we can actually set them both off at the same time. Let's try that. Okay, so they're both going. That's probably even noisier than it was before. Now, I don't know if you can see this, but on these coils, there's actually a little LED here that's flashing. And that LED flashes each time one of the balls passes through the middle of the coil. So I think what's happening here, there's actually a little infrared sensor just in front of each coil that detects as the ball approaches. And when that sensor gets obstructed by the ball, that's what energizes the coil and activates the magnetic field just on this coil. So essentially, as the ball travels around the ring, there will only ever be a maximum of one of these coils at any one time will be having current pass through it, and that's what generates the magnetic field and pulls it onto the next one, which is essentially the same way that the coils work inside a stepper motor. So if we take a look at the components in more detail, there are 6 of these copper coils around the outside of the ring, and each one of them has an identical PCB mounted to it. The only one that's any different is this one here, because it has the power adapter connected to it. But actually that ground and 12 volt line is shared between all the coils through these copper wires on the middle here. So they're really all acting exactly the same way. If I take a look at this one, you can see on either side of the track here there's an infrared detector and emitter, which if I place my finger between them, you can see the LED lights up. That's what detects when the ball bearing is close and what energizes the coil. You can see there's a MOSFET here, a diode, and just a handful of resistors. It's all pretty basic components, and actually it'd be pretty straightforward to create more of those units and extend the track in different directions, or to make different shapes of track. And that's something which I think I'm quite interested in doing actually in a future video, because I can imagine making a much longer circuit of this, and that would be quite a fun prop to use in an escape room. But as it is, what do I think of this product? Well, I mean, it came pretty promptly. As much as it was possible to tell from the description on AliExpress, this is exactly what it was meant to do. It's basically an executive toy that you could put on your desk, and it's kind of intriguing to watch. It kind of, resembles having a perpetual motion. Obviously it doesn't, because it's got to have that power supply, but it's kind of intriguing to watch. Even though it's pretty noisy, so I'm not sure you could actually leave it running for any length of time, but it's fun, it does work. I'm going to give it 6 out of 10.